All right, good to be back. Good to be back. I know it's been a little while since the Champions Trophy came to a close, but there's never a wrong time to cover international cricket.
Yep,
Vivek, I see you smiling from year to year there. Two tournaments,
back to back.
two trophies for India. So I think the best place to start is we can start off with the champs and the runners up and the semifinalists, and we can work our way down. So
Yeah,
uh, so what was the experience like in Dubai? Let's start off there.
amazing, man. I just want to show this off really quick. I got this from the.
Ooh.
They actually have some really good ICC merch at the. Oh, spelled opposite, but at the games. So I got this scarf from there, and I
Hmm.
really like the look of it. So yeah, I mean, Dubai was amazing. Like in general, really cool. Part of the United Arab Emirates, and it was awesome. And I actually ran into a lot of cricket players there. So I saw Jaydev Winodkut on the streets. I saw. I didn't say hi to him or anything because he was. It looked like he was having coffee with his wife, so I didn't want to
Hmm.
bother them. But the day after the semifinal, me and my mom and dad were walking around in Dubai Mall, and then I just turn and I see Rohit Sharma there, and I tell my dad, I was like, "That's Rohit Sharma," and he's like, he just went up to him straight away and he spoke to him for a bit, and he was so nice, and he spoke just like 10 minutes. He was with his father-in-law, and we just spoke about the game and how they're feeling and stuff like that. And I also showed him a reel I made on Instagram where I met them like 6 months ago in New York. So really cool experience.
I mean, what is it with you and meeting all these players? I mean, as a fan of the game, I'm super envious.
Yeah, yeah, I just got lucky, man. I hope it continues to happen. The only celebrities I ever meet or run into are cricket players, and if that's the case forever, I'm happy with it. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So you saw most of the chase in the final, right? You weren't there the entire game.
No, I was the
You
whole
weren't.
game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and yeah,
I was gonna say the Kiwis were off to a great start. Rachin Ravindra was batting pretty well. But it was that middle passage where the spinners really put on the brakes and choked the run rate for New Zealand. I mean, they
yeah.
managed to get recover a little bit thanks to Michael Bracewell, but I think at halftime I kind of felt 25 maybe 30 runs short of what they wanted, and unless something out of this world happened, it would have been a pretty straightforward chase for India.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we spoke about, it was a copy and paste of what happened with India, Australia. So you had a feeling that India knew what they needed to do to get over. And we started off amazing. Like I think it was 112 or something for no loss, or maybe a
Hmm.
little less than that. And then we had a little bit of a collapse in between, which was scary. And we did take the game deep, and we did lose 6 wickets in the end, I believe, 6 or 5. But yeah, no, it was a great chase. And yeah, speaking of the spinners, so firstly, how wrong was I about Varun Chakravarti from our last pod that we did, and about Harshit
You know,
Rana and Gambhir?
You know what? It's kind of funny when we get proven wrong at times. I mean,
Yeah,
we can't win all the time, but yeah,
yeah,
he made a fantastic account of himself, especially in the big game. Uh, he was giving the New Zealand batters almost nothing to work with.
mhm,
Even alongside Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel. I mean, now that I mentioned Akshar Patel, I'd say he's like the most adaptable you know, most adaptable guy in the lineup. I mean, if he needs to be moved up the order, because the top six they all bat right-handed. So I mean, you were telling me he's definitely a key talking point here.
I did say that, so that evens it out. We did speak about that, how Akshar Patel floats, and yeah, it's coming of age for him because not many people know, but he was in the 2015 World Cup squad. So that's we're talking 10 years ago, and he's only 32-ish, so he's extremely young when he came into the side, and he's always been around the team, the squad. He's been in the circuit, but he's finally kind of like what's happening to KL Rahul in ODI cricket and now T20. He's like coming of age and doing really well for the team, and he's the most dynamic player. I think I saw a podcast with I can't remember which cricket expert it was on the Ranveer show. It's a you probably heard of that podcast in India.
Rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah. So he was saying that guys like Akshar Patel are players that fans like us may not understand their value, but the team knows exactly what they can bring to the table. And I could tell you so many instances from the 2024 World Cup and this Champions Trophy where he created a magic moment. Like, especially in the game against Pakistan, they actually had a decent start when they were batting. and he
Hmm.
comes in with a run out, and that can change the entire game. So, extremely happy for him, and I just hope he continues this and wins a few more trophies for us.
Hmm. I mean, he's already a key feature in the short formats. He could even force his way into the test team not too long from now. I mean, I don't. I mean, Jadeja is not getting any younger. Um,
Absolutely, yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, I got up a bit late on the day of the final. I only managed to watch like the last 15, 20 overs of the chase, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, I know I'm not too much a morning person, but sometimes for these games, if I have to get up early or stay up late, but yeah, I have to say that the two I would say surprises maybe were Rutchin with the ball
Hmm.
and Michael Bracewell. I mean, I think those his best figures like in terms of economy rate. It
Yeah,
was 28 for two and or just 2 for 20 10 overs,
yeah,
and I think Rutchin was like 35 or 36 from 8 overs, and he got the key wicket of Rohit. So I think I don't think there was any like I wouldn't call it a panic button situation, but there were like points in the game when India were like maybe we should play it a bit safer, but there's no big concern, right?
yeah, yeah. So actually, we were made friends with some of the fans that were sitting next to us, and we were discussing this. Where actually, at one point, it seemed like we were in a situation, maybe as paranoid fans, that we don't want to be in. I believe when it was
Hmm.
like 60-ish runs left, and you only have 4 wickets in hand,
Hmm.
and you have you have the overs, but you know that 1 wicket here could collapse the team because then you have Kuldeep, Varun, and then the bowlers or
Hmm.
the fast bowlers. So maybe I'm biased because I'm a fan and it means so much to
Hmm.
us, but definitely not a panic button. But it was never easy. Like it was never like, okay, India's going to win this. After we lost a few wickets at 100 for something, I remember going to the bathroom and I was like, it's finally happening. I'm finally going to see us win a trophy. But then when we lost a few wickets, I was like, one bad moment here and everything could, turn on its head again. So, yeah, it was a pretty nerve wracking to say the least.
Plus, like Rohit Sharma, he was set on 76. He was hitting a lot of great shots. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't often associate him like with having a big rush of blood. I mean, he just came herring down the track against Rachin,
Hmm.
and it was such an easy stumping. But
Yeah.
then again, there was plenty of quality batting to come. I mean, with Akshar coming in at number 5, and that shifted everyone down a position. So I think like tactics wise, there really wasn't much to worry about. I mean, it made perfect sense that the two best sides on paper made it all the way to the top, and um, I mean, as it was an expected outcome as well. I mean, uh, yeah, India were super stacked. There's little debate there, and I think the only way New Zealand would have been made things a little more interesting was if they showed a little more intent with the bat. I mean, Daryl Mitchell was like 68 off. Uh, it's like, I don't know, 106, 107. I need to look at the scorecard, but that
Yeah.
reminded me of your least favorite innings from 2023,
KL Rahul.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. He was 63 from 101. I'm seeing. So
63 from. Oh wow, that is
yeah.
yeah, not a good knock at all. Yeah, that pretty much. I mean, maybe he thought like, I'm dealing with the tough bowling from the spinners at the moment, and let's see if I can hit a few sixes at the back end. But that didn't work out, and
Mm.
it was a pretty soft dismissal at the end. So so that
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah, yeah. And you spoke about Rohit Sharma's wicket, and what I sensed on the ground there is when the spinners came on, and this is for both sides, and I want to discuss something really interesting regarding that. But when the
Hmm.
spinners came on, it was so hard to bat. Like, and I couldn't pick up why. Like, I get that the pitch was a little spongy, and the ground, the angles of the ground, and everything. But for some reason, the spinners kept it so tight, and it was so hard to score off of them that Shreyas Iyer actually struggled a lot in the beginning.
Hmm.
And when he was struggling, I think Rohit Sharma sensed that I need to get a move on because I think he was on 76 or whatever, and India had lost 2 wickets by then. And actually the overs are catching up. So like you're like, okay, we still have to go at around six and over now, or a little under that. So that's when I think Rohit Sharma took a risk and he just got out. It was such a frustrating wicket. Like I thought he was gonna go get 100, but him giving that away at that time, I was like, this could be the game because then you're putting in two new batsmen. One is struggling, but I definitely feel that Shreyas Iyer's his dot balls and the pressure he created is the reason why Rohit Sharma got out. And I'm
Hmm.
not blaming him. It was really tough to bat, especially in a chase of a final. So he did
Hmm.
end up doing pretty well.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing I noticed, like looking at the scorecard, is Bracewell's is 2 for 28 and 10 overs. Those are the best turns for any spinner who bowled in that game. Like even better than
Crazy.
Chakravarti, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, even
Yeah.
better than Mitchell Santner. I mean, just to put
Yeah.
things into perspective. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was almost a player of the match, worthy performance. But yeah, I think yeah, I would say Rohit 76 pretty much took away a lot of the momentum, and it took out a lot of the any possible run rate or scoreboard pressure that was to come.
Yeah. That's right. And yeah, speaking about Bracewell and the spinners, so like something that I found really interesting when I looked at the scorecard again today was it's so we always talk about like combination and obviously the best team ends up winning and we had a feeling India was going to win because on paper they are
Hmm.
a better team. But cricket is so much about just combination and conditions that you can
Hmm.
actually have a better team lose. I'm not saying that was the case here, but
Hmm.
the reason why I say that is because if you look at the scorecard, you have Nate Smith who opened the bowling, if I'm not wrong, and he did he did open the bowling.
I think first change. I think it
He
was
was first change.
Jameson and who was the other guy?
Rourke, Will
O'Rourke.
O'Rourke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
O'Rourke. Yeah.
Yeah, so Nate Smith only, and they have him as an all rounder in
Hmm.
Cricinfo, but I'm pretty sure he's just a fast bowler. Like I don't know why they
Hmm.
have that. But so he only bowled two overs, and he went for 22 runs. Now, if you look
Hmm.
at every spinner, you have Ravindra went bowled his 10 overs, Bracewell bowled his 10, as we just spoke about. Santner bowled his 10. Glenn Phillips bowled five for 31
Hmm.
at a economy of 6.2. Now remember, Nate Smith went for 11. And then
Hmm.
you have Jamieson and Rourke who did not bowl their 10, and they went at 4.8 is what Jamieson went at, and then 8 is O'Rourke. So I get you leave out O'Rourke, but between Jamieson and Glenn Phillips, you had those two overs. And that's all Nate Smith did in that match was
Hmm.
bowl two overs, give away 22 runs, and do nothing else for New Zealand. So could New Zealand have gotten away with another batsman in that lineup so they could free up their opening batsman and their middle order, and then maybe put 30, 40 more on the board. Like it's just those little things that are super interesting that could be changed with combinations and could win you a cup in the end.
Hmm. I mean, even Daryl Mitchell can bowl a little bit of medium pace. I
Yeah,
mean, if they really needed to turn to another seamer, but then again, even he's a part time bowler. I mean, I wouldn't really back him to bowl like 6 7 overs in a game.
yeah.
But they were in a bit of trouble because I I don't know if you saw, but Matt Henry when he took a catch against South Africa in the semifinal, the one to dismiss Clausen, I think
Mhm.
he did his shoulder there, and
Yeah,
they were kind of sweating over whether he'd be ready to play, and turns out that wasn't the case. So I think that was one thing that kind of screwed them over in this big game. But then again, it goes back to match awareness. Like I don't think Jasprit Bumrah would be fielding in the outfield and be made to dive for everything.
true,
It's
true. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is match awareness and it's also just combination. So like when we first had this pod like before the Champions Trophy, we spoke about are they going to need spinners, and I think at by the final, New Zealand should have identified that yes, they're going to need a lot of spinners or more spinners. I don't know why they went in with Nate Smith. They could have been fine with Daryl Mitchell as that. If you need one more fast, like medium fast bowler, and you already have Jameson and O'Rourke, and then what I was talking about, the spinners were so hard to hit in
Hmm.
throughout the game, first innings and second innings. So like they should have,
Hmm.
potentially just left him out and added in another bat. But yeah, that's just how it works sometimes. Like I was worried that India was going in with two special spinners per 11, and I was like, and now when I'm seeing it, I was like, that was such a genius move. Like thank God we did
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, and also, what was I going to say next? Yeah, I think I think out of the spinners, I don't think Glenn Phillips probably read the conditions properly. He was bowling like a little quicker through the air, while Santner, Bracewell, even Rutchin,
Very
they were
yeah.
tossing it up a little bit more and giving it a bit more air. That made it harder to hit them off their lines and lengths.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
And I'll also say, well, because we spoke about Glenn Phillips, just a special mention to him. What a fielder, man! Like
Hmm.
he was flying this tournament. He had three one-handed grabs like 3 feet away from him. It's like insane athleticism that the New
Hmm.
Zealand team have. So yeah, special mention to him.
Yeah, I think probably the fittest cricketer at the moment, among the fittest cricketers. But then
Yeah,
again, like if we look at the IPL, he's super unfortunate. I mean, he only played like a grand total of like 7 or 8 games across 3 IPLs, and you
yeah,
saw what happened in like a few games ago. He tried to like collect the ball and throw it back, and
yeah.
he hurt his groin. So
That's
I don't
crazy.
even know if he's going to feature for Gujarat. Uh,
Wow, wow.
yeah,
Extremely
but that
unfortunate.
shouldn't matter too much, though. He's the priority should be doing well for New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It's just, yeah. I mean, if you want to look at the glass half full, then at least it happened for a franchise team and not for New Zealand.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think yeah. Now that we've gone through the final, I think yeah we can take a step down. We can go through the semis next. So
yeah.
we can start with India Australia. So did you feel there were any moments of concern at any point?
I think the same. Yeah, like it during the chase, I felt that with any knockout ICC tournament, when India is chasing or when any team is chasing, I feel like you always have some sort of there's always potential for the team to collapse, and it's really just one wicket that could have done it. And it was the same thing as the final, where one or two wickets in pairs could have collapsed India, and we could have been kicked out of the tournament. So I was very worried during that chase as well. But what I love about this team is that everyone contributes like as a team. So Akshar will have 30-40, Shreyas Iyer will have 30-40. Virat Kohli had probably one of the best and most sensible innings I've seen. It's going to go down to be so underrated because no one's talking about it. But that 84 was a textbook ODI chase by Virat Kohli, and if he did not do
Hmm.
that, and he did not keep the team together in that situation, we would have not had the Champions Trophy. So we had that, and then what else? Who else scored? If we look at India batting,
Yeah, just scrolling here.
yep, we got 28 from Rohit Sharma, 8 from Gill, 84 from Kohli, 48 from Shreyas, Akshar Patel 27, 42 from KL Rahul. Okay, yes, we have to have a special mention for KL Rahul because we've been giving him a lot of shit for the past uh, few years. But he's definitely looks like he's come of age, as I said earlier. And I think he's a very good number five, number six ODI batsman. I've always said that, but I think he's not an opening batsman in any format, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Maybe test like to up to an extent when the ball's not moving a lot, but he's a great middle order batsman in every format. I think if India just identifies that, he's perfect at six because he finished both of those games. And Hardik Pandya, yeah, that now when I'm looking at the scorecard, I remember when he hit like two sixes in a row. At that point, it was scary. Like the equation was not easy at all. Like I think and again, it was like six ish and over it needed. And when you need six and over on the Dubai ground, it's not easy. Like it's not IPL here. This is like Dubai Champions Trophy semifinal. So he came in, he ordered a like thicker bat, and then the next ball he hit a six. It was insane to watch because he just knew that he was gonna go for it after he got that bat.
Hmm. Another thing I see is when the fifth wicket fell for Australia, it was around 14 overs to go, and
Mhm.
198 for four. Then the fifth wicket fell, right? So with like 14 overs remaining, you would think 100 runs would be there for the taking, but once that wicket fell, they could only manage 66 runs, and I think as I shared in the group chat, that was one of the difference that kind of eased some of the nerves for India, and obviously we saw Kohli play a fantastic innings. I think the only surprise was the fact that he didn't stick around until the very, very end. He,
Yep.
he, he did lose a bit of patience and try to send one down the ground, got out caught. But by
Mhm.
then, I think it was a pretty straightforward cleanup job remaining.
Yeah, if you don't mind scrolling, what was the score when Kohli got out?
When Coley got out, it was, let's see,
So Coley got out. Yeah, he had 42.4 when you're at
225. Yeah,
225. Yeah, so then you
225.
have
Yeah.
like, yeah, 30 something. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah, as you said, yeah, pretty much cleanup job when Coley got
Hmm.
out. So yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was good.
And I think, yeah, and I think towards the back end, Nathan Ellis was bowling pretty well. I think even though the Aussies didn't have a lot of their big names involved, I think in spite of that, they can still appreciate the fact that they've made it this far. And some of these guys have a lot of potential. I think we're going to be seeing them on a regular basis going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see because we don't want cricket to die in these countries, especially.
Hmm.
And it's just good to see that because a country could lose or like fast bowlers in a country. So in Australia, they could lose their motivation if you have three guys at the top for like a decade, which are Pat Cummins, Josh Hazelwood, and Mitchell Stark. Like, because you're just not going to make the side unless you're playing against Zimbabwe or something. So
Hmm.
it's really nice to see that Australia still has that depth, and there's no doubt that they're extremely talented. So they did extremely well, and I'm excited to see how they do in the future. And one sad thing that came out of this was Steve Smith retiring, which I was not
Hmm.
expecting at all. But a great congratulations on a great career to him. Two World Cup wins, an amazing
Hmm.
gun batter. And I think his wicket in the semifinal was the turning point. I think if he had just continued that innings and put his foot on the gas for a few more runs, then it would have been a much tougher chase. And I think he got out on a full toss. I think he
Yeah.
stepped out and he tried to hit a full toss, and Shami bowled him. I saw that
Hmm.
live. I could still like picture when I think about it, but thank God that happened because yeah, Smith was looking in really good nick.
Yeah, I think when I saw the dismissal in the highlights, I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
That was like so unlike Steve Smith. I mean, you don't, yeah, he almost never has like these like brain farts at key stages of the game.
right.
Um, but yeah, I think the Aussies have. I think they're in a good spot. Now, if we look at the other semifinal, if we look at New Zealand and South Africa,
Mhm.
I just think it was just a bad day for the Proteas. I mean, I didn't see too much of the bowling. I saw some of the batting. I'll get into the batting a little bit in a moment, but I think as for the bowling, uh, pretty much everybody got punished. I don't think there were any clear plans as to how to increase the pressure. I mean, Marco Jansen was kind of all over the place. Uh, I think Rabada and Ngidi, they bowled well in patches, but it didn't really count for a whole lot. But then again, it was a great innings from Rachin, and then even Kane Williamson showed why he's, uh, he's still a great all format batter, especially in ODIs as well. So, but yeah, with this, it's funny I mentioned that because in the final, I think Rachin and Kane, they were dismissed for a total of 48 runs. That was yet another point of difference. That's
Right.
because those are the two players that did a fantastic job in the semifinal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the match where David Miller had that 100 not out, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good knock, but it was just a
Great.
small victory, I guess. But
Yeah.
I think like when it comes to these chases, um, we saw it happen like to a worse degree with Pakistan. I wouldn't say it was like I wouldn't say it was that bad, but you got to at least stay in sync with the run rate, especially in
Yeah.
these big chases. I mean, uh, I did see the early part. I saw this game in patches. But yeah, I think Bafuma was at like 3 from 19, and he was really struggling to connect, and then he made it to one. So he was able to run a ball from that point onwards. When he should have done better to make up for that. I mean, even Van der Dussen, 69 from 66, he needed a little bit to get going. A lot of unconverted starts. I think when Klaassen had that rush of blood and tried to hit center down the ground, it actually wasn't that short, but he tried to play like his favorite like back foot pull shot against that slightly foolish, not so short delivery, and he hold out to Longo, and I was like, yeah, I think this is probably going to be game. So I think. one thing that has to happen is it's time to rethink and rethink your approach when it comes to these big chases. And maybe in the not too distant future, maybe time to clean house in this lineup because a lot of these players are going to be on the other side of 35 when the next World Cup rolls around. And, whether they're going to be available, the jury's out, right?
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you because you're a South Africa fan, and I
Hmm.
know how much you follow and how excited you are about the domestic talent. And that's what we've
Hmm.
seen coming out of South Africa is like they have so much
Hmm.
talent. So, like, who would you replace in this lineup going forward? I think Rickleton is a promising player.
Hmm.
Bavuma's probably done with his career, right?
Well, he did get a central contract, at least as far as what I read on ESPN Cricket Info.
Mhm.
I mean, if we look at his overall ODI returns, it is respectable. I mean, it's better than some of the others, but he's going to be 35 this year. Unless like he continues to do well in bilateral series, he'll have to watch his back. I mean, even Rasley's 36. So the clock is ticking for a lot of these guys. I mean, even Klasen's going to be 34. Miller's
Mhm.
35 going on 36.
Yeah.
So I think if we were to look at the SA20, I don't know if you've seen Luandre Pretorius. That guy is so entertaining to watch. So
Yeah.
many effortless shots. I think we may be seeing him in at least a T20 squad. I think Matthew Britsky, he hit 150 against New Zealand in the Tri Series. I think he's going to be there very soon as well. So I
Yeah.
think when it comes to finding replacements, I don't think it'll be too hard, but giving them time to express themselves, that'll be the key going forward.
Right. And what are the ages of those two, Pretorius and Britsky? Right.
I think Pretorius is like 19 or 20, and then Britsky is 26 or 20.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's what I was going to mention is I think South Africa from so I don't follow cricket South Africa the way I follow Team
Mm-hmm.
India, obviously, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they have the talent, but they need to nurture the young guys a bit
Mm-hmm.
better and yeah, just manage them better and take care of them. I think there's two like gems that are in South African cricket right now, Brevis and Stubbs, who
Mm-hmm.
at this point should already be ready to be playing ODI
Yeah.
cricket. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they just yeah we don't see them in the lineup at all or in the setup
Mm-hmm.
at all. We just see them in T20s. So I think that yeah, if South Africa can do better with getting their youngsters ready, then you have guys like Aiden Markram in there, who's such an
Mm-hmm.
exciting player. Even yeah, Temba could play the role of that senior captain in the
Mm-hmm.
2027 World Cup. Miller
Mm-hmm.
could be doing his final World Cup, and you would have a star lineup right there. What about the bowling? Do you think that Rabada and Ngidi and is it not time to look past them, but are there any bowlers that could replace some of them at sometimes? Like I know there's Norkia, but he's always injured, unfortunately.
I think it might be worth getting Gerald Coetzee back in, maybe an Andre Berger, even they've had injury problems as well. I think now that you asked about Rabada, I think his workload needs to be managed a bit more going forward, because I
Yeah.
think just like I see a parallel with Australian Cummins and an Indian Bumrah, like as
Mhm.
like they're so key to the test team that they should continue prioritizing tests, and then they should have a little more freedom to pick and choose which short format series they want to be involved in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And mhm. And I think another weak link in this 11, at least from what I see in the scorecard, is Vian Mulder. I don't think we've seen too many noteworthy performances from him in ODI cricket. I mean, we saw a couple good performances in tests, but for an all rounder, he has been below the mark. So, but he has time on his side, so we'll see.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
would say same with Jansen. I think the only time
Hmm.
Jansen really has impressed me has been in tests in South Africa and the IPL.
Hmm.
But I don't think he's ever really made any extremely, you know, uh, like impressive performances that I would remember as a fan. So I think Jansen,
Hmm.
when I see him bowl, I mean, obviously just from watching from the TV, it seems like he's just like tossing it up. It doesn't seem that
Hmm.
fast. It just seems like it's just going to be a in swinging ball, and he's just tall. I think that's all he's got. I don't know how skilled he is in terms of his variations and stuff, but that could be extremely ignorant because I'm not actually batting against him. But he doesn't
Yeah,
seem
yeah.
that threatening to me at all with the ball.
Hmm. I mean, it does kind of look like that, but he has time on his side. I think when it comes to talent, he's definitely up there. Uh, if he, as you said, if he can add more to his existing skill set, he's really going to be a threat across formats.
Sure.
Mhm. And let's see, I was going to say one more thing. It kind of left me. I'll see if it comes back. But
I had a
yeah,
question about
let's.
the matches in general
Mhm,
in Pakistan because I'm looking at the score and it was like 300 plus in the semifinal. How'd you feel
mhm.
about those pitches? Like, did you think that they were just roads basically, or because I didn't watch much of the tournament apart from India, I just saw scorecards. So, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched every now and then. I mean, I would have preferred to see some more mid-scoring, entertainers. I mean, I kind of don't really want to see 300 plus all the time. But that said, I think we did get a few interesting contests out of there. I think England Afghanistan, that was a great match. In fact, yeah, my mom was out of town. She was in India,
Mhm.
and she watched the games every now and then. So and she really isn't much into cricket, but occasionally when there's like a world event, or maybe an IPL match every now and then, she watches it and gets sometimes gets into it. But she
Mhm.
was like, yeah, Afghanistan, this is a seriously exciting side to watch, and I like a lot of these players.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's so impressive to see like where Afghanistan has come from and like what they're doing now. I think 2015 was when they announced themselves on a World Cup stage in
Hmm.
the 2015 World Cup in Australia, and now they're beating every top side. Like I think the only top side they haven't beaten ever is India, or maybe and New Zealand. Um,
Well,
but they,
I guess you can say they've beaten New Zealand if we look at last year's World Cup. In fact,
yeah,
they didn't just
so
beat them; they had them for
right,
breakfast in the
yeah,
T20
yeah,
World
yeah.
Cup. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So they've beaten every top side, and I'm still so like, well, I try to understand like where their infrastructure is and like how they're getting breeding this talent with everything going on in their country. But then
Hmm.
I know that the BCCI is helping out a lot, and I think they've
Hmm.
given Noida as the home ground, and I think
Hmm.
this is just a great example of how everyone will bash the BCCI and say that oh BCCI is killing cricket, taking all the money, this and that, but if you look at it, what the
Hmm.
BCCI has done for subcontinental teams, except for Pakistan, is incredible. So they've but Pakistan's always had their infrastructure for cricket, and a very good one,
Hmm.
apart from it being a circus. But
Hmm.
they've done they've done for Afghanistan, they've done amazing. I think they've
Hmm.
brought them up from pretty much nothing and made them into a top side. They're giving
Hmm.
so much money to Nepal and training up Nepal as well. So it's a little shout out to BCCI as well because they get too
Hmm.
much hate.
Yeah, I mean they have yeah they have one home ground in Greater Noida, and I think
Mhm.
they do train sometimes in Bangalore as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think they have one more home ground over in Dubai as well. So they have access to some of the arguably best facilities in the business.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've come a long way. I mean we say it's taken 20 years, but let's look at it. I mean they were like over the course of these 20 years, they went from like beginners to qualifying for a T20 World Cup, then an ODI World Cup, and then finally now to semifinalists last year. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's not like serious progress, I don't know what is.
No, 100%. Like for a country, as I said, with those resources and they just have heart and they have so much heart. They just come in and they want to win. But to make a semifinal, I think the last time, and again, not many people know about this, but Kenya made the semifinal in 2003 World Cup and India played them in the semifinal. But I think
Mhm,
that's the parallel I can draw is how Team Kenya was able to, out of nowhere, make a semifinal of an ODI World Cup. In
mhm,
this situation, Afghanistan made the 2024 semifinal, which is a huge feat. And the only thing I could say about the 2003 one was that it was at home and it was in Africa. So maybe there's a little bit of a home field advantage, but not really for Kenya still. So, but those two have both been impressive. And speaking of that, something that you and I always talk about is with the small number of players and not resources, they have resources, but the small number of players that New Zealand has, I think 8 domestic teams, they have so much talent and they're
mhm,
such skilled athletes
mhm.
like, I think that probably what's the number of people that play or like men that play cricket in New Zealand? Would it be like under 5,000 maybe or 10,000?
Not something I know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
on a quick side note, how much of the New Zealand Pakistan series did you get a chance to watch or track?
I did track it. I was very oh, the one that just ended,
The
or
one that
the
just
tri
went by,
series?
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, the one that just went by. Not much actually.
Okay, okay. But
The
yeah,
one
that
in New
was,
Zealand, right? Oh
the
yeah,
one in
yeah.
New Zealand, yeah, yeah.
No, actually, I did see it. We were talking about that a lot.
Mhm, mhm.
I know where you're going with this. Is the amount of like new guys that New Zealand just popped out, like Hassan Ahmed, I think was one of them.
Mohammed
Mohammed
Abbas, yeah,
Mohammed Abbas, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the amount of players that they just just tried out against Pakistan, then they won like every match. So
Mhm,
insane talent that they got over there.
mhm. I think the four semifinalists of this Champions Trophy look in like reasonably good position, like going forward. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I would even add England to that. I mean, I just say that this Champions Trophy, it just sucked for them because a lot of things went wrong. But I think when it comes to like their personnel, they have it mostly figured out. I think two guys whom I personally feel shouldn't be involved in the ODI setup are Phil Salt and possibly Liam Livingston. I'd say
mhm.
Phil Salt, he's a great T20 player, but I think in ODIs, even though when he gets off to a good start, he has to resist the urge to send. I mean, uh,
Right,
in fact, this was where Jason Roy was so good, and
mhm.
even though he averages just a little less than 40, I feel like he doesn't always get the credit that he deserved. I mean, he was part of the squad that totally revolutionized how England played
Right.
ODI cricket. I mean, can you believe before that, Alistair Cook was our ODI captain?
Yeah, yeah, wow, crazy. I think that yeah, England is always going to be fine, just because they have
Hmm.
the infrastructure and they have the history, and they've always been a top team. And then they
Hmm.
had their golden era, I would say, between
Hmm.
2019 and 2022. But England will always be fine. I think cricket teams in general, what they need to do better with, which is really tough, is grooming middle order batsmen.
Hmm.
This is a problem in India as well. The reason is because if you're the best batsman in your state or your county that you're playing for, you're going to be opening the batting. You're
Hmm.
never going to have a guy or you'll be at number three. You're never going to
Hmm.
say that, all right, this guy is a proper number four and then slot him at number four in international cricket. And I think we've spoken about this before. That's what I see with England specifically. Like all these guys, Salt, Livingston, like 10 other guys on that team, they're all openers and they just try to make a batting order out of opening batsmen, and that's probably what's messing them up because they have no one holding it together. That's why when you had Owen Morgan in the middle, I used to never understand that back in the day, but he was actually holding down the middle order and
Hmm.
steering the chase.
I mean, even Butler at six, he's done a great job. I mean, even he didn't have a great tournament this time around, and unfortunately he had to resign as England's white ball captain. But I don't quite feel it's the end of the road for him just yet. Might have another 2 max 3 years of good cricket left in him.
For sure. And he's so
Hmm.
good, so talented. I think he stepped down after the Champions Trophy exit, right, as a
Hmm.
captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that should change him as a player, and I think he should definitely continue till 2027.
Hmm. And I think yeah. Now if we were to go through the rest of the teams. It was a familiar struggle for Bangladesh, but I think now that the big five are out of the picture, they can kind of look forward to getting getting more young players involved. I think even though stuff might have gone wrong, I still feel that they have some good players in there. Like we take Najmul Hossein Shanto, give him
Yep,
some time. He will be great. I mean, he's already
yep.
shown good leadership skills. Uh, but yeah, I
Mehdi
think.
Hassan Miraz.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I'd have to say
Mhm.
he's among my favorites from Bangladesh.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, he can bowl some great off breaks. He can bat pretty much anywhere in the order. It's funny they've used him like everywhere from 1 through 8
Yeah,
uh, in ODIs and T20s. So I think
right.
he'll definitely be able to maximize his potential. I mean, even if we look at the fast bowlers, they've got Shariful Islam, the left armour. They've got Tuscan Ahmed. So I think they're in a reasonably good place. But if we compare to let's say Afghanistan, I would have liked to see them make more progress over the years. I mean, I think they've fallen short there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's been a stagnant just struggle for Bangladesh, and I can't pinpoint as to why. I think the talent is definitely there. Maybe I would say the infrastructure or the coaching, or it might be, financial related. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but I think the closest or the best they've ever looked is 2019 World Cup
Hmm.
when all their star guys were in form. And now that all
Hmm.
the star guys are gone, let's see how they do. I definitely agree that they have so much talent, and I think
Hmm.
one another guy is Nahid Rana. He's looking very good
Oh
as well.
yeah. Oh yeah, I did watch that test series, Bangladesh and Pakistan,
Yeah,
and yeah, that yeah, I couldn't believe what I saw. That was amazing. I mean,
yeah,
Nahid Rana was really giving the Pakistani batters a challenge. I mean, the way he dismissed Babur, he had him edging to the slips. That was out of this world. I mean, if he provided he stays injury free, I think he could be a big feature across all formats.
yeah, and yeah, you hit it on the nail. And that's what you have to make sure that he stays injury free.
Hmm.
That also could be a reason why Bangladesh has stayed pretty stagnant because they have a lot of injuries. They're not doing workload management properly. I remember in the 2011 World Cup, uh, they were decent, but they had a coach, Ian Punt. He's like a very famous coach, like for fast bowlers, like within these teams, and he's coached Shoaib
Hmm.
Akhtar and everything. And I think
Oh
he had
wow.
a pretty good stint, yeah, with the Bangladesh team, and they were looking good because then that led into the 2015s and 19s. 2015s they were looking pretty good too when they had Rubal Hussein, the guy who
Hmm.
was like poking at Virat Kohli
Oh my
all
god.
the time. But yeah, I mean, I wish them luck. I hope they do well. I wonder what it's like to be a non-top three cricket team because I'm thinking about the rivalry between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and I'm wondering if those two try to look ahead of that and like look at the bigger picture, or they just want to beat each other. And I get it if they just want to beat each other because it's so hard to beat England, Australia, New Zealand, and India.
Hmm.
But I wonder if that gap over there could be a potential reason for that as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid argument. I mean, yeah. Now that you mentioned Sri Lanka, I feel like even they've kind of fallen behind as well. Uh, they I think as a fan of the game, first and foremost, I'd like to see the whole world stage get more and more competitive. I mean, like even from a general standpoint, I don't like to see too many lopsided games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm in agreement. And
Hmm.
yeah, with Sri Lanka and West Indies are two which come to mind where
Hmm.
it's such a sad story about how cricket has died over there. I mean, I don't think it's dead in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Um, I think which the issue with Sri Lanka is it's such a small country, and they went through a golden era where at one time they had some of the best players to ever play the game at
Hmm.
once. And then I understand the argument that you need to have current superstars to build super or to like grow superstars, like so they see them as idols, and then the kids turn into superstars. But I I just it's not possible with a country the size of Sri Lanka. I think they're even smaller than New Zealand pop in terms of people playing. Actually, maybe it's a little more, but for Sri Lanka, that's why I get it. And for the West Indies, from what I'm hearing, is just financial turmoil and
Hmm.
the athletes are looking at other sports because there's more money in other sports, which is extremely
And
sad
franchise
for us.
cricket as well.
And franchise cricket. Yeah, 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 franchise cricket. Like we've seen, I think the most with West Indies players that
Hmm.
they will not play for their country, but then they'll go to play for a franchise, which is
Hmm.
something as an Indian fan that just does not make sense to me. I mean, I get why they do it, but I could never fathom doing that, even if it was
Hmm.
money related.
I mean, I would have loved to see like a peak Karen Pollard play Test cricket. I mean, that never happened. I mean, I
Yeah.
think if I was looking at his player profile the other day, his first class returns are actually not that bad. I mean, he would have made a decent Test all rounder.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think. Yeah, now that we mentioned all the teams that need to do a lot of catching up, may as well round it off with the hosts of the Champions Trophy. I mean, I think the only thing that could possibly go right for them was the fact that they managed to successfully host, their leg of the tournament before it came over to Dubai. But apart from that, I think everything that could have possibly gone wrong pretty much went wrong. And yeah, there's a lot of soul searching and fixing to do going forward. I mean, if we look at the tournament opener, Pakistan and New Zealand, 28 for two in 10 overs, chasing 300 plus. I mean, what are these guys thinking?
yeah. I know what you're saying. Like we were texting during this match. I
Yeah.
was like looking at the score. I was like, are they? on purpose, just like shooting themselves in the foot because you also want to think about, all right, if you're not going to, this is not even the right mindset, but if they're like, all right, these are too many runs to score at this point, you at least want to have more runs on the board. So then if it comes to a net run rate situation, then you potentially have a chance. But yeah, I think also can't pinpoint what's going wrong there. Well, I know that the board is, playing musical chairs with all of their officials. They're playing musical chairs with their captains. The country, unfortunately, is in a little bit of turmoil as well, financially especially. That could have something to do with it, but yeah, they really need to figure out what they're doing. I think Babar Azam, we spoke about him a lot, and I really praised him in our first podcast. But
Hmm.
I I think either he needs like a break for 3 to 4 months and just clear his mind from cricket, or fix
Hmm.
what he's doing because even if he gets to start, he just cannot make that into a big score, and
Hmm.
he'll break out of it. But and then the other thing is the fast bowlers, which is exactly what I said in the first pod, is that these three guys are extremely overrated and they need to try new fast bowlers. And they just get smacked everywhere they go. Shaheen, Rofe, and Naseem.
Well, yeah. The other part of the problem is, they've been bullying these three guys like, they've been trying to squeeze, everything from them. They've been getting injured as a result, and then their performance is going down, like what we saw in the last year or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So, and I think, like when it comes to batting lineup, I don't know if Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan are going to change their ways a whole lot. So I think the guys around them have to bat better. I think if I look at the Tri Series, I think Salman Ali Aga, he looks a very good player. I think when it
Yeah.
comes to like reading the situation, he did hit. I think he hit a century against New Zealand. Oh no, so century against South Africa. I think it was like 130 something,
Hmm.
and that helped. That helped ace a big chase. So I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I think the other guys have to step up. I mean, if we look at the India Pakistan game, there wasn't really a whole lot of momentum. I mean, they put up a
Mhm.
decent score, but it was far from enough.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, 240 they put up, which is a little, yeah, it's like 20, 30 less than what we saw in the semifinal and final, and where
Hmm.
India chased as well. So, yeah, I guess it's not competitive, but I think from the get go, like the bowling was just so dead. Like you never thought that Pakistan had a chance,
Hmm.
because by the time they took a wicket or two, like Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer were on like 60 each. And there was that one passage of play. I think they were like 70 something for two, where I was like, okay, just be
Hmm.
easy. Like don't do anything stupid. And then I looked an hour later. I was actually in Egypt at the time, so I
Oh
couldn't
yeah,
watch it
yeah,
fully. But I looked after an hour, and India was like 15 runs away, and Virat Kohli was about to get 100. So yeah, I think there's just needs to be a mindset change, and yeah, I don't know. Like was Fakhr Zaman was injured?
yeah. I think he played the first game, and then he got injured in that game,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Imam ul Haq came
Hmm.
in. But I think Imam ul Haq should be in there regardless.
Hmm.
And we spoke about that as well. Another promising player from Pakistan is Saim Ayub. Poor guy got injured right before the
Hmm.
tournament, but I think he's very promising as well.
Yeah, I think in these big chases, he's going to give them the best chance because,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah, unless Barber changes his ways, same with Rizwan, uh,
Mhm.
we're going to end up seeing more of the same. I mean, even we saw that in the ODIs against New Zealand. They really couldn't get going, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think like the miseries from the Champions Trophy only continued to just prolonged throughout this ODI series.
Yeah. I think the only
Hmm.
one thing I get from, or like the one, how I'm reading Mohammad Rizwan as a captain is that he's extremely like my way or the highway type. I
Hmm.
think he doesn't pick up mistakes that the team is making and try to make a difference. He blames it on like life factors. Like you say that, oh, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And
Hmm.
he says stuff like, oh, the game is over. That's all we can talk about right or think about right now. But I think if you actually like do some analysis, you'd be able to pick out why you're losing the match,
Hmm.
and actually make those changes into how you approach the game. Like a great example is after the 2022 World Cup exit of India in the semifinal by 10 wickets we lost against England. Going into the 2023 World Cup, Rohit Sharma changed the entire mindset of how we're going to bat. We're going to hit from ball one. We're going to keep the pressure on the bowlers because we're batting till eight. or 7, and
Mhm.
you have to make those sort of changes depending on the players that you have. And I think Mohamed Rizwan is just he says that yeah, he just says a lot of things in the press conference, like more of like a he's a philosopher or like he's a preacher, but he's not like tactically picking out the issues with the team. And if he does that, maybe they can get better.
I mean, now that you mentioned tactics, everything just seemed so off during the Champions Trophy,
Yeah,
and I feel like it was kind of a fitting anticlimax that their final game got against Bangladesh got rained out. It
yeah.
was kind of it started off not so promising, and then they like slowly disappeared from the scene. In spite of being the tournament hosts. I mean, it really couldn't get any worse. But maybe this is what might motivate them going forward. I mean, uh, hitting rock bottom, and then that realization will happen.
No, for sure, for sure. And we
Yeah.
don't want cricket to die in Pakistan. Like they've been a
Hmm.
great team in the past. They've produced some of the best players, and it's important for these teams like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, West Indies to still have quality cricket players. So
Hmm.
I wish them all the best, and I hope that they can
Yeah.
come back strong in the next tournament.
In fact, I think in some interview, Shoaib Akhtar was like, "Oh, there's no talent at all." I mean, wait a minute. This is a country of 200 million people, a
Mhm.
very cricket crazy nation. There definitely is talent. That is just not true.
No, for sure, for sure. I
Yeah.
think, and I know what you're talking about. He would seemed like he was just annoyed at the current like guys in the circuit. So maybe like the top 30 that they keep like recycling.
Hmm.
But if we're talking about talent, you could pick up a guy in Lahore and he'll be bowling at like 90 miles an hour. So
Hmm.
I don't think talent is an issue at all in Pakistan. It's just about infrastructure.
Hmm.
The board is playing musical chairs, as I said. Just it's a circus in that administration. I think there was a stat I sent you where in the past 12 years or something, I think the coach has changed some 30 times, or 30 people
Yeah.
have been floated in and out, which is insane. Like, how are you going to create any stability in the team if something like that is happening?
Hmm. And then you wonder why a lot of things are going wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh,
Hmm.
why are we losing?
Yeah. But yeah, well, now that we've gone through the entire Champions Trophy, I think what are you next looking forward to in international cricket?
So yeah, big test series against England coming up.
Hmm.
I really want Bumrah to be fit, so if he doesn't play the IPL, I'm very happy with that. I think BCCI needs to figure out something with Mumbai Indians and just say that,
Hmm.
and maybe compensate Bumrah, so pay him to not play IPL, like play him what he's going to make playing IPL.
Hmm.
Um, he's a national treasure, and to be honest, the fact that we won the Champions Trophy without him was extremely like surprising to me. I thought that he's the X factor, and I mean, I did think that India was going to win, but yeah, if we had Bumrah, I knew India was going to win, and without Bumrah, I was like, okay, let's see, Shami's coming out of injury, you have Harshit Rana, whatever. So yeah, big England series, and then I'm looking forward to the 2026 T20 World Cup because that's going to be a whole bunch of new guys with
Hmm.
Hardik, Surya, and Bumrah, and they're going to for the first time have an ICC tournament in I don't know how long, maybe since 2011,
Hmm.
without Kohli in there. And yeah, so let's see how it goes. Those are two things I'm excited for. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say like now that you mentioned like a lot of new guys involved, I feel like in the next like year or so, cricket's going to feel very different. I mean, I was telling you about tennis the other day. It was
Yeah.
now that Federer's done, Nadal's done, and even Djokovic is slowly coming to the end of his career. I mean, there are lots of exciting players there, but do they have the same like aura as like the big three, or like even like a Serena Williams, or like a Maria
Yeah.
Sharapova, for instance? Not
Hmm.
well, not quite. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from how good they are,
Right.
but
Right.
but it just doesn't feel the same.
No,
Um,
for sure. Yeah. And
but yeah, I think.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but back to the cricket. I think WTC final for sure. I think we can cover that a later time. But yeah, that's a big game. First time the Proteas have made it this far in this format of the game. Uh, well, expectations won't be very big. I mean, if we look at how good the Aussies are, but that should be good motivation. And
Hmm.
I think the England India Test series, that's going to be a cracker of a series. I think um, hopefully India's learned from the like the workload management if we look at the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Um, yeah, I think it would have been wiser if Bumrah just sat out this entire IPL. I mean, is it really worth it when there's like a big series coming up to kick off the next WTC? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's not, and that's where my problem with IPL comes in. But we don't have to get
Hmm.
into that. But
Hmm.
yeah, speaking of the World Test Championship, I completely forgot about that. But that's going to be a cracker of a match as well.
Yeah.
And uh, just some friendly banter here. Australia's winning it. Like I don't
I
see South
mean,
Africa winning that at all.
uh, I mean, I mean, it's no secret that the Aussies
The
are
favorites
comfortably
going.
favorites.
Yeah,
In fact, I think I don't know if this is a rumor. I don't know if this is. I don't know how true this is, but Stark, I think, decided to ditch the Champions Trophy, in order to get a little bit of downtime. And even
hmm,
though he's playing the IPL now, he has the eyes on the prize, the WTC.
yeah,
And I think, I mean, Cummins, he was injured as well, but it wasn't like super bad. So I think
yeah,
it was kind of a precautionary measure. So, like, one thing we notice with the Aussies is that they like to play it safe, like to play it smart with these kinds of things.
yeah,
So, yeah, we shall see. It's two very different sides taking each other on. I think one side is with almost all their experienced guys ready for one last dance, maybe add to their already overflowing trophy cabinet.
yeah,
And while the others, and the Proteas, it's a mix of experience and new players,
yeah.
and the sky's the limit. So we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to have us to have South Africa win, and I want South
Hmm.
Africa to win it,
Hmm.
just because Test cricket is not being played in South Africa due to rights and the cost for hosting Test
Hmm.
cricket in South Africa, which is absurd to me. But yeah, I think that if South Africa wins this, then you have like a top six, excuse me, which is a really strong top six teams. You have
Hmm.
India, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, wait, that was five. And yeah, the sixth one, I don't know what the sixth one's going to be, but you have a South Africa is like that one that comes right after the top four. I think
Hmm.
right after the top three comes New Zealand, but New Zealand has
Yeah.
been in like almost every other final if you think about it in all
Hmm.
formats. So they just called them the big three, the India, Australia, England, because of the financial power that they have. But
Hmm.
yeah, it would be great to have South Africa back on top as well. So
Hmm.
hopefully, yeah, wishing them the best of luck. And because we mentioned the 2026 T20 and a lot of new players coming, who's one young Indian batsman and bowler that you're really excited about?
Oh, I would say okay, young Indian batsman. I'll go Abhishek Sharma just because I just find him he's just so fun to watch. He makes it look so easy. I mean, I know it's super hard to score at that rate, but the
Yeah,
way he does it, he plays like normal cricketing shots. He almost never does anything crazy, and he hits like sixes and fours like he has nothing to care about.
yeah,
And then for bowlers, you want me to go one seamer, one spinner, or
sure, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
okay, let's see, spinner. I think. I think I was going to say Ravi Bishnoi, but he has some work to do. He's been going for a lot of runs.
hmm,
As for seamers, I think if he can stay injury free, Mayank Yadav.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, forgot about that guy.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see
Hmm.
how they're doing. Yeah. What's his name? Ravi Bishnoi. He had his go in the Asia Cup
Hmm.
2022, and he was
Hmm.
looking decent, but yeah, he's got some work to do right now. And Mayank
Hmm.
Yadav, if they can just figure out, he seems like he's one of those players that's gonna, unfortunately, I hate saying this, but spend his life just getting injured. But he's gotten injured so much so early, and he hasn't
Hmm.
been able to recover. I just hope he's able to bulk fast after he's recovered from
Hmm.
all these injuries.
Yep. We shall see, there's no question. There's like massive talent depth, and
Yeah,
like almost like every like successive T20 series, we may see like one or two new guys, joining the mix.
yeah, no,
Hmm.
100%, 100%.
All right, I think this is a good stopping point for now. Vivek, it was great to catch up again and cover the Champions Trophy. I know we kind of kicked the can down the road, but we finally got to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
again, Abhay, thank you for hosting this. Always
Yeah.
great talking cricket with you. I could do this for
Hmm.
hours. So, Yeah, we'll be catching up for the next for the World Test Championship final, I guess, or the India England series.
Why not do both?
Why not do both? Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
I mean, before or after, we can figure that out. But
for
yeah,
sure.
as usual, he's eagerly looking forward to more and more cricket talk.
Absolutely. Therapeutic stuff.
Hmm. All right. Thanks, Vivek.
All
Take
right,
care.
thanks. Good night. Bye.